I'm Walter Duke. Welcome to Labrador Films Beginning Computers for Seniors.
Meet our students for today. Mimi and Dolores both will be using desktops. Bob will use a laptop. Before we begin, let's compare the power of the present-day computer with something you're familiar with. Remember this queen of the sky many years ago? Imagine for a moment one of these propellers idling at 1,000 RPMs, never stopping, night and day, week after week, month after month. It would take 4 years for it to turn over 1 billion times. Now, some modern computers can perform 1 billion calculations in 1 second. In just a few minutes, we want you to be enjoying hands-on experience with your computer. Here's what you'll find on this DVD teaching program. Number 1, starting your computer. Number 2, the mouse. Number 3, the desktop. Number 4, window magic and the start menu. Creating shortcuts. We'll play some solitaire. Burning files to a CD. Understanding bytes, CD-ROM, DVD-ROM, and starting and shutting down the computer. All right, let's turn on our computers. Bob, the start button for this portable laptop is inside. Open up the screen and push the power button. On some, the power buttons are on the side. Dolores, the start button for your tower model is here on the front. The unit normally sits on the floor. Also, make sure you turn on your monitor screens. It will take approximately 30 seconds for the computer to start up with the Windows XP operating system. You will then be prompted to click on your username. Operating systems like Windows Vista and others in the future are becoming even more user-friendly and intuitive. Simply follow the prompts that may come up. It's time to talk about the mouse. Here is a look at a standard computer mouse. Perhaps it got its name because it looks like a mouse with its long tail, which is connected to the back of the computer. Or perhaps it's called a mouse because it moves quickly across the computer screen when you move it. Well, the mouse is extremely important to the operation of the computer, as it will perform many important functions like starting and stopping programs, saving work, as well as being able to move objects around and selecting important options that come up. On Bob's laptop, the mouse is actually embedded in the machine, and it moves the pointer or cursor merely by rubbing your finger in the direction you want the pointer to move. Move it with your finger, Bob. Now, this may take some time to get used to. The click buttons, by the way, are on the lower left and right. The standard mouse has small indents called buttons at the front. They are for left-clicking or right-clicking. Some mouses also have a scroll wheel in the middle. This will allow you to slide your finger over it and the pages will scroll up or down. As I said, Bob, the laptop mouse takes some getting used to, so slide your finger around on the pad and notice the arrow or cursor follows your movements. To click means to press the left button once. To double-click means to press the left button twice in quick succession. To right-click means press the right button once. When do you left or right-click? Most of the time you will left-click. However, we'll be doing lots of right-clicking as well, and we'll see what happens. All right, go ahead. Give this a try. Next, we'll explore the desktop. Bob and Dolores, this is the desktop, and these are icons. Icons are tiny pictures which represent a file or a program. The icon with a small curved arrow on the bottom are shortcuts, and they are handy, very handy. Now remember, the shortcut is not the actual file. It brings the file up without having to go through the Start menu and finding it and so forth. You could even delete one of these shortcuts without affecting anything else but the shortcut. But you don't want to delete it now, okay? Let's move on. Let's start exploring the desktop. We're making progress already, students. Notice the clock in the bottom right-hand side. Now, using your mouse and its arrow or cursor, place it over the time. Then, double-click your mouse using the left button. Remember, that is 2 quick left clicks. Notice that the clock and the calendar open up in another box. This is handy if you want to change the time or look up a date on the calendar. Let's say you want to look up another month. Take your cursor up to the month box with its arrow. Left-click once on that arrow, and a drop-down menu shows up with months of the year. Let's say you want to look at January. Move your cursor over the word January, and then left-click once. The calendar changes to that month. Now, let's say you are finished looking up a date. You have several choices. You can click the X button in the upper right-hand side, and the box disappears. Or you can move your cursor over the Cancel button and left-click once, and the box disappears. Or if you want to set your computer to that date, you could hit or press the Apply button. Then you'd have to hit or press OK or X. If you need to change the time, simply adjust the clock to the time you want and click OK. Now with the box open, if you want to move it, you can do this very easily. Move your cursor over the top part of that box and left-click once, but this time hold down that left button. As you move your mouse around, notice that the box moves along with it. Pretty neat, huh? Now, this is helpful because let's say you have 2 boxes or programs open at the same time and you're working around here in Microsoft Word, for instance, the word processing program, and now you want to move the date and the time box around. You have to first move your mouse over the upper bar of the date and time and click left once, and then hold down and move it around. Now, move the other box around. You have to move your mouse over the top of this program, Microsoft Word in this case, left-click once and hold the button down and move the mouse around. Notice that this box moves so you can reposition it. Whichever box you highlight will become active and the other becomes inactive at that point. Go ahead and practice that. All right, very good, students. Now, let's see what happens if you want to delete a file or a photo that you might have on the desktop. Simply highlight it with your mouse. Left-click once, and then hold down and now drag that file over to the recycle bin. Once you've done that, then release the button. That file is now in the recycle bin. It's like putting your trash into the trash can, but the trash pickup hasn't taken it away yet. So before you empty the trash can and everything in there, make sure that everything in the recycle bin is what you want to get rid of. A good rule of thumb is to open up the recycle bin and view each piece of trash. If there's something in there you want to keep, you can then highlight it and then right-click the button and notice that the option's there. You may want to highlight the Restore the Word button and then left-click and that file is restored. But if you do want to empty the recycle bin, move your mouse up to the file left, click once, then highlight Empty Recycle Bin. Left-click once, and the warning box comes up and asks you, are you sure you want to delete these items? Yes or no? You can highlight whichever you want and left-click once. The purpose of the recycle bin is to hold temporarily your deleted files. You should empty your recycle bin periodically. Your computer will operate a little faster. Now let's rearrange the icons on the desktop. Left-click on any of the icons. Keep the button pressed as you move it across the screen, then release. And it has a new location. Move them all around if you want. Or let the computer do that for you. Right-click your mouse in the middle of the desktop there, anywhere, and some options come up. Click on Arrange, Arrange Icons. Then more options come up, like Name, Size, Type, Modified. Choose one and the computer will arrange the icons accordingly. Try several of the options. If you drop down and highlight Auto Arrange, the icons will arrange, but then you can't move things around. One other option I want to show you here at the desktop is the ability to adjust size and look of your desktop. If your eyesight, like me, is starting to go, you could check this option out. Might be handy for you. Go to the desktop. In an open area, I want you to right-click your mouse. And then right-click on Properties tab, the Properties tab. Now this Display Properties box comes up. Let's left-click on Desktop. Here we can change the picture that is displayed on the background of the desktop. Go ahead and left-click on the background pictures that are listed there. A preview window shows up. Shows you what the photo looks like. If you like what you see, then you can left-click on Apply, and the new photo will be applied to your desktop. Try out a few more photos. Now move your mouse over Settings and left-click once. Here we can adjust the viewing size of the desktop. Move your cursor over the screen resolution arrow. Left-click and hold button down. As you drag the mouse over the arrow, notice the preview screen either grows or it gets smaller depending on which direction you move the mouse. Let's pick maybe 800 by 600 pixels or something close to that and see what this looks like now. Press Apply. The screen will go black and then reset to this new size. You have the option to keep this new setting or not. Perhaps try another size before keeping the one you want. Left-click once on OK and the size sets. Remember, you can change this at any time. I found that extremely helpful. Now, here's a cool organizational tip for you. Creating a folder on your desktop where you can place loose photos, word processing files, or just about anything else. Right-click once on an open part of the desktop and go to Folder. Single left-click on it. That window disappears, but on your desktop you have a new folder that you can file things in. Now let's rename it. First, you know what's in it. First, highlight the folder by single left-click on the folder, then single right-click, go down to Rename, single left-click, then notice that the words New Folder are highlighted. Simply retype the new name of this folder. Then single left-click anywhere in the open desktop and notice the new name to the folder. Now double left-click on the folder and it opens up, ready to accept anything you'd like to place in it. Mick is ready to go. Let's jump into the Start menu and Windows Magic. First, let's see if we can customize our mouse and perhaps make it easier to double-click. I want you to move your mouse down to the bottom left and left-click once on Start. Then over to Control Panel and left-click once. The Control Panel box opens up. And then move the cursor over the mouse icon and double left click. The mouse properties box opens up, and here you can adjust the double click speed. Your cursor will be over the slider bar, and left click on it and hold it down and move it one direction or the other. Then place your cursor over the folder icon shown there and practice double left clicking. Adjust some more and double left click until it's just right for you. Now let's go to the Mouse Properties box tab marked Pointers. Here you can choose the look of your cursor if you want. Click on a few, and you can see the look of it in the preview box. Next, select Pointer Options and click on Display Pointer Tails under Visibility. Then move your cursor around, and it has a tail. I personally think this is annoying. But once you're happy with whatever selection, hit OK at the bottom of that box. The Control Panel window is still open, and you can see that from here you can make a variety of adjustments to your computer. Adjustments to sounds, internet options, printers, and more. One other cool function that we can perform now while this window is open, and that is minimize, maximize, and resize. I want you to take your cursor to the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And notice the small box. That's called minimize. Single left click now on it and notice that it minimized to the bottom of the screen. The program is still open and is running, but we got it out of the way for now. See, here it is if you look down here. When we are ready to work with it again, all you have to do is single left click on it and it maximizes to the full screen again. The next small button in the upper right-hand corner is the Maximize button. Single left click it and it resizes to a smaller box. This is helpful when you need to refer to something else that's located on the desktop. You may even have the internet open and the word processor open as you type like this. When this window is in the resize mode, you can continue to resize it to make it the proper size for your needs. You can simply place your cursor anywhere in the corner or on the side, and notice that a double arrow shows up. Hold the left button down, and you can drag the box as you resize it like this. Go ahead, Bob and Dolores, give this a try too. Remember, you can also click on the top of this box and hold down the left button as you drag the box around the desktop. Next, save your work by going to File, Save. Then, if you wish to close this program or window, go to the upper right-hand button and click on the red X button. This closes the program. If you forgot to save your work beforehand, a warning box comes up to remind you to save the work. Aren't computers great? They almost think for you. Another shortcut to close a window is to hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and then tap F4. Let me open a few programs and then downsize or minimize them. Notice they are all opening and running down here at the bottom, called the taskbar. I want you to single left click on any one and they maximize again. Here's a cool trick. Find an open spot on the taskbar here at the bottom and right click once and highlight Cascade Windows. Now, all your programs you have open at the time, their windows will cascade on the desktop. To highlight and bring forward or to move them, single left click them. Now, let's move to trying to find something that we might have on our computers. Let's say we're searching for something. All right, we created a word processing file in Microsoft Word. We know it's called MIC, but that's about all we know. We can't seem to find it. Well, go to the Start button, click, then over to Search, then over to Documents, Word Processing. Then in the white box, type in the name MIC, M-I-C-K, and click Search the Computer. What it's doing, it's finding the file for you as it looks all through the computer. Then you can double click on it once it's found, and it'll open up. It'll also tell you where it's located so you can find it yourself next time. Click Start, then Help, and Support. Then type in the search box whatever you need the answer to. For instance, type in Copy and press the arrow button or press Enter. Click on any of the search results and the help file comes up to walk you through the task. Okay, now let's X out of the Help and Support Center window. By now, you are moving around nicely on the desktop using the mouse. Often, new games or software will install a shortcut icon on the desktop for you. They are handy, and you will want to have one for each of your favorite programs. Just easier to get to. Bob and Dolores, move your mouse over the Start menu down at the bottom left of the screen. Single left click. A box opens up. Then go to a green button that says All Programs. Single left click. Then roll your cursor over Games. If your computer has this, some may not. I want you to single left click, then roll over the game Solitaire. If you single left click, now the game would open. But for now, let's single right click and then choose Send to Desktop Create Shortcut. Just like that, you now have that icon on your desktop, handy for you to get to and open it up for a quick game. I'm a little tired of all this learning. Why don't we take a break and play a game of solitaire? A fast and fun way to improve your mouse skills is to play a game of solitaire. You will be delighted at how much it will improve your mouse coordination, your pointing, and your dragging. On the desktop is the solitaire icon. Double left click to open the program. The game opens up and we are ready to play. I'd like to play single card draw, so my pointer moves over to Game, single left click, then down to Options, single left click. Then single left click under Draw to Draw 1. I can also change any of the other options found here. Then hit OK, and then play the game as you would if you had a real deck of cards. Single left click on the deck of cards, and a card is turned over. If you have any aces, single left click and hold down the button as you drag it up to one of the 4 open spaces at the top. I won't tell you the rules, but more than likely you'll get the hang of this easily enough. Through the magic of video, I just won. Play again if you'd like to go to Game, Deal, or notice the F2 listed there. That also is a shortcut. Instead of Game Deal, just hit F2. Well, you're becoming pretty good at this. Now let's learn how to copy files to a CD. A CD stands for Compact Disc. It holds 650 megabytes of information. Today you can also store things on a data DVD. This data DVD can hold 4.7 gigabytes of data. That is a huge amount of data. Most people, for simple files and photos, a CD is simply enough. Let's say you want to burn some word processing files to a CD to take to another computer. Go down here to Start, then to My Documents. Click on a file there, then over to Copy this file. A Copy Items window comes up, and now select the CD drive and hit Copy. A small window comes up to show that your file is being copied. Now choose another file and hit Copy this file, then choose where it is to go. Choose CD drive. You can X out or close the My Documents window. Now you have two files waiting to be burned to a CD. Simply place a blank CD into the computer. You'll find the CD drive in the front of a tower computer and on the side in a laptop computer. Push the button to open the CD drive, place a new CD in the tray, and push the button to close. Next, the computer will come up with a window to ask you what you want to do next. Choose the Open Writable CD folder using Windows Explorer. Single left click OK. Now the CD drive window shows two files ready to be burned onto your CD on the left under CD Writing Tasks. Choose Write these files to CD. A CD Writing Wizard window comes up to help you along the way. Here you give the CD a name. Then click Next, and the burn is underway. Next, the CD drive tray will open and the wizard shows that the burn occurred. Then click Finish. Take your CD out, and you have successfully burned to a CD. Notice on the side where the CD was burned, you can see a difference where it was burned and where it wasn't. Treat this data side of the CD with care, keeping fingerprints and everything else away from this side. That's where your data is stored. Place a CD, place the disc in a case or a paper sleeve to protect the data. Someone told Mick, the star of our show, that it was time to grab a bite. Little did he know we were talking about kilobytes and megabytes. With most modern computers, there is plenty of storage space, but occasionally you might want to check to see how much storage you have on your computer and how much is left. You can do this by going to Start, and then single left click on My Computer. Then just single left click on Local Disk, or C, on the left. Under Details, it tells you that your total size of your hard drive on the C drive is how many gigabytes, and that currently we have so many gigabytes of free space available. Plenty of room to keep storing files and photos. You could also select the local disk, then single left click to highlight, single right click, scroll down to Properties, and then single left click. There you'll see a graphic representation of your computer storage. It says we have used 12 billion bytes and have 27 billion bytes of free space available. Here is a breakdown of bytes. A byte is a string of 8 bits, zeros and ones, which make up the character. A character can be a letter, a symbol, or a number. Your computer knows only zeros and ones. Bytes are a measurement of information your computer can store. A kilobyte is 1,000 bytes, abbreviated K. A megabyte is 1,000,000 bytes, abbreviated MB. A gigabyte is 1 billion bytes, abbreviated GB. Most modern computers have dual CD-ROM, DVD-ROM disk drives. As we learned earlier, they are located in the front of a tower computer and on the side of a laptop. Push the button to open and close. Let's play some music. Insert a music CD and close the tray. A window labeled Audio CD opens up and asks us what we want to do. Let's choose Play Audio CD using Windows Media Player. Select OK. The CD loads and plays. You could select any track and click Play. You could then downsize the window. Notice that it's still playing, and the program is down here in the taskbar. Now you can go on with your other work while listening to music. When you're ready to stop the music, either open up the CD tray and insert another CD and continue as you did before, or if you want to skip a song, single left-click Window Media Player and the window maximizes. Then just double left-click on the next song you want and that song plays. Most modern computers are designed to stay on all the time. They do go into a hibernate stage when left alone for a certain period of time. Indeed, all have power-saving features, so they are energy efficient. However, if you are going away on vacation, you may want to turn the power off. Here is the proper way to turn the computer off. I believe it is good protocol to, first of all, save all the work that you have open. Then close all the open programs. Next, go to the Start button, then to Turn Off Computer. A window with 3 buttons will come up: Standby, Turn Off, Restart, and a Cancel button marked Cancel. Press Turn Off. That's it. The computer will turn itself off. However, you should manually turn your computer monitor off. Well, that's our time together for now. Good job, Bob and Dolores, Mimi, and you in the audience. We have come a long way, and you are no longer beginners. The door is open to go as far as you wish. I invite you to join us for other editions of our training videos. Labrador Films also has the Guide to Email and the Internet, as well as Intermediate Computers for Seniors.